I'm Jennifer. Today I'm going to take us through a little sequence yoga for soccer players. So I personally am not a soccer player right now, but I did play when I was a lot younger, and I have 2 teenagers in my house who love to play soccer. So we're going to come into plank pose to start with. So you can just come onto your hands and knees and tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back. So plank pose, get a nice straight line from your shoulders to your, and then from there, engage your core muscles and pull your hips up and back, trying to make somewhat of like an upside down V with your body. So this is downward facing dog pose. If your back doesn't straighten all the way, you feel like you're rounded in your upper back, then just take a slight bend in your knees and work more to get a straight back, and then eventually to straighten the legs. Let's do one at a time. So press the right heel down, and then bend the right knee and press the left heel down. So just back and forth at your own rhythm, bending one knee, pressing the opposite heel down towards the ground. And then let's keep both knees slightly bent, or if you're able to straighten them, go ahead and straighten them out. We're gonna raise the right leg all the way up as high as we can, bend the knee, and then bring the right foot between the hands. So setting up so your knee is pretty much above your ankle, and then let's come up and bring our hands onto our hips. Roll the shoulders back, and we're gonna bend the back knee, almost touch it to the ground. You can kind of tuck your tailbone down, and then extend your leg again. So we'll do that a few times. So gently bending, lowering. You'll probably feel this in the front of your left thigh and maybe into your left hip flexor too. And one more time, we're gonna bend and then extend. And then we can stretch the arms up, inhale, and exhale, lower the hands back down to the ground. Let's step back to downward facing dog pose. So pushing our hips up and back again. And we'll do the other side. So we're gonna raise the left leg all the way up, bend the knee, step the foot between the hands. So again, knee pretty much over the ankle. Let's bring our hands onto our hips. We're gonna bend the right knee. So we're drawing the belly in, tucking the tailbone, and then extending the leg back. So we can slowly lower and extend. Again, feeling that nice stretch on the right thigh and hip flexor. This time, keep your leg extended. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, hands to the ground. Let's step back into our downward dog. We'll do like a little flow here. So we're just gonna inhale, plank pose. And you can exhale, bend your elbows. See if you can lower halfway. You can drop the knees if you need to. And then upward facing dog. Push to the tops of your feet, really lift your thighs and press your heart forwards. And then downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back again. Good. So then let's raise the right leg again. This time we'll step it to the outside of the right hand, and we'll lower the left knee down to the ground. We're gonna raise the right arm up, inhale, and reach back. If you try bending your left knee, can you reach your foot? That's a deep stretch, so you might not be able to catch the foot. You could always wrap a belt around your foot and hold the belt, or grab onto your pant leg if you can't quite reach your foot. And if you can, just draw your heel towards you. Nice. Inhale, and then exhale, and release. You could just move the hips side to side a little bit if that feels good, and then we'll go ahead and do the other side. So we're gonna step back, downward dog, raise the left leg up, inhale, exhale, we're stepping the foot to the outside of the hand, lower the knee, and then reach your left arm up and back. Try bending your right knee. See if you can take hold of your foot, or maybe just the pant leg. Again, using a belt or a strap if you have one. While you're holding the stretch or the pose, try to take a deep, full breath. And exhale. One more inhale. And then exhale, gently release. Let's lower the left hand. We'll step back into our downward facing dog. And then this time we're gonna just walk the feet forwards. Bring the feet up between the hands. So nice hamstring stretch here. Keep a little bend in the knees if your back is rounding, yeah? And then start to press your chest forwards, eventually working to straighten your legs. So at first we'll have a deep bend. We might even have our hands like on blocks or on our fingertips. And eventually we're working to straighten the legs. Let's press into the feet and come all the way up. Inhale, and then exhale, hands to heart. We're gonna step to the right. So we're gonna take a nice wide stance with our feet, about one leg length apart. You can place your hands on your hips. Inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, fold forwards. So in this pose, again, your hands might not quite reach the ground, so you could have a bit of a bend in the knees. You could also try widening the feet if you need to. In this pose, you can just hold it still. If that feels like a deep stretch, just hold and breathe. We can also bend the right knee, kind of walk over to the right side a little to get that inner thigh stretch. And then do the same thing on the other side, bending the left knee, stretching the inner right thigh. And then let's come to center, and we're gonna turn to the right side. So turn your right toes out, and you can just adjust your left foot maybe over to the left a little. We try pyramid pose here. So what you wanna try to do is come up onto your fingertips and try to straighten your right leg, so you're kind of rolling your right hip back. Nice deep stretch here. If you have more flexibility to fold, then by all means go ahead and fold. Otherwise, we're just working on eventually straightening both legs. At first, our right leg will most likely be a bit bent. As I said, make sure you breathe in each pose. Take your time. And then let's do the other side. So we're going to turn the right toes in, walk our hands over to the left side, left toes out, right toes in. So again, if we need to, we have a bit of a bend in the knee, and eventually we're straightening the leg. Somewhat of a flat back, just so we're not all rounded out. So shoulders back, chest reaching forwards. Inhale, exhale. You can use those exhales to kind of go a little deeper into the pose as well. And then let's come back to the center. We'll place our hands on our hips and just slowly come up to stand. Okay, and you can walk your feet together. So we want to build nice strong foundation with our ankles. So all the balancing poses are great for strengthening the ankles. Let's bring the right knee into the chest. Left hand can stay on the hip. And just gaze at one point in front of you at eye level, and that really helps also with our focus and our balance. We're going to inhale here, and then exhale, slowly open your knee to the right side, and try moving your focus over to the left. So find another point over your left shoulder to focus on. Yeah, you'll feel that wobble in your left ankle, that's okay. Come back to center with your head and your knee. Lower the right foot down. Let's do the other side. So left knee comes up. Hold your knee with your left hand, right hand on the hip, and let your ankle sort of wobble around and find its balance. Inhale. And then exhale, open your knee to the left side. And see if you can shift your gaze over to your right shoulder, past your right shoulder. Back to center, and place your left foot down. Yeah, so that one sort of goes with the hip stretches we often see football players or soccer players play before or after practice. Okay, so let's come back to the front of the mat. We're going to inhale, stretch up. Exhale, try folding forwards. Again, bend the knees if you need to. Step back into plank pose. Let's move through that flow again. So it's chaturanga, it's kind of like a push-up. You're bending your elbows. Option to do it with the knees on the ground. And then upward dog, you're straightening the arms, pressing into the tops of the feet. And then downward facing dog, hips up and back. Yeah, from here, let's come into a squat pose. So we're just gonna take the feet behind the hands and lower the hips down. Take your hands together in prayer pose and press your knees out to the side. So if your knees are closer together, you're kind of using your elbows to push them out to the side. You're lengthening your spine, sitting up nice and tall. You can close your eyes here. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more, nice release for the hips. Inhale. And then exhale, lower your hips all the way down to the ground and bring the bottoms of your feet together. So for this pose, when we start working on this pose, our knees are usually a little higher, back might be rounded, so your goal is just going to be to work on sitting up straight and then eventually to let your knees come down. And that'll come with time. If you practice it every day or just a few times a week, you'll see a big difference. So those of you who have the flexibility, if your knees come down, it feels pretty comfortable, you have room to go further, you can fold forwards. Otherwise, I would recommend just stay seated, because otherwise what happens is we kind of round into the pose. So we want to be folding at the hips. Okay, so we want to have somewhat of a flat back as we come forwards, and that'll be a really, really nice stretch for our hips. So again, you can think about inhale, lengthening your spine, and then exhaling, folding. One more. Okay, then we're going to come up. We'll bring the knees closer together, feet hip distance apart. We're going to come onto our backs for this next one. So we want to have nice, strong knees to play soccer. So what we're going to do is walk our feet in, keep them about hip distance apart. Also nice, strong core. So let's press the lower back down towards the floor. So we're engaging our core muscles. And then we're going to lift the hips up. So adjusting so your feet are pretty much below your knees. And then if you want to add the shoulder stretch, you can interlace your fingers, sort of roll the shoulders under towards each other, and then press your hips up. So this is building muscle in your legs to support your knees, ankles, and then we're also getting a nice stretch across the chest, the shoulders, as well as the back of the neck. Let's take another 2 breaths here. And then release the hands. Slowly lower your hips down. Draw your knees into your chest. You can kind of rock side to side to massage your lower back. And we're going to keep this one nice and short for you so that you can do it easily before or after a game or a practice. And that should help you keep your hip mobility, also feel nice and strong in your knees, ankles, and nice and stretched out in the thighs. So that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave me a comment or question. Happy to answer. Thanks.